Start. Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat, Baruch Hashem, and we're going to continue today our lesson in Sefira, Baruch Hashem. We're learning from the Sefira Usfartem Lachem. Okay, you don't mind we did it, right? You don't mind we did it, right?
I forget.
Okay. All right,
Are you kidding? I love that we're doing it.
Okay, very good. So today is Hayom Shnayim Ushleishim Yom Shem Arba Shavuos Arba Yomim LaOmer. So today is the 32nd day. It's 4 weeks and 4 days into the Omer. Huh? Yeah. Anyone that didn't count, they can still count today. Wherever you are listening, you can count, and then you'll be able to resume tonight with a bracha again, in case you didn't miss any brachas along the way. Okay, now today is the midah of Netzach Shebahod. Netzach Shebahod. All right.
Now say what that is in the translation, because I have to connect with it.
Okay, so Netzach is victory.
Victory, okay.
Victory, and Hod is thanks. So it's the victory of thanks.
Victory of thanks. Okay.
Let's see how that works, okay? Let's see what he says. It's a very beautiful concept. It's a difficult concept, but we'll with Siyata D'Shmai, we'll figure it out. Yitin Adam Alibay, a person should place into his heart. It's interesting how Frisch he changes. Sometimes it's think about something. Now place this into your heart. All right, now you'll see why. Hopefully we'll figure this out in a moment, why he used that term. Kigam kishuhu be'es nesoyin b'moichin dekatnas. That even when a person is going through a test and he's in a small-minded place. He doesn't have his moichin the godless. He's thinking smaller. Because again, we know whenever we're going through a test, they take away all of our levels, right? They take away our levels because if you have your test and you have everything with you, that's not really a test. So they kind of strip away the stuff that we have to see how we're going to do during the test. We learned the concept that anything that you acquire through Mesiras Nefesh, right? Anything that you really exerted yourself to acquire in service of Hashem, you really, really worked hard. That they don't take away in heaven. They don't take that from you. That you earned.
Oh, okay.
When you work for something, you earned it. That's yours. But if you didn't earn it like that, you just earned it because you were studying whatever you learned, and you developed different ideas and different concepts. And you worked on different things in your mind, right? And then you're able to deal with certain situations as they come up. But when you go through a test, they say, okay, we're going to remove that. The way you can understand it is, when you study for a test, right? So you have all your books, you have all your study material, everything's there. When you go take the test, what do? No books. No books. I'm just giving you the mashal for the nimshal, right? You like that idea, right? Does it help you understand what we're saying here?
Yeah, so far. So
you're studying, right? And now, but when the test comes, they take it away.
Yeah, but they can't take away what you've learned from those books.
Exactly. So that's the Mesiras Nefesh, is the information that you retained in your mind.
We're seeing if you got it.
That you retained, what you retain when you take the test, you have that. I'm just trying to, right? That's the concept, okay? Now, but you have to be victorious over your Yetzer Hara. See, because when the person is in that small-mindedness, he doesn't have all his information, everything, so the Yetzer Hara can easily come in. Mm-hmm. He likes to attack then, because, he doesn't have all his stuff there. Now I can really get him.
And he knows exactly what you don't have.
He knows what you don't have. Exactly.
Also, your blood vessels constrict, so you can't think as well.
You're not thinking. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yes. So when the person's in that mind frame, in that small-mindedness state, because he's going through the test, watch out for the Yetzer Hara.
Yeah, you're very vulnerable then.
And so let's see how this fits into the day. Let's see how this. Okay. He's going to confuse the person and prevent the person for thanking Hashem during that time. Right? He's going to confuse the person And they'll say, hey, look, you're going through this difficult thing here. Look what Hashem's doing to you, right? Right? It's easy for the Yetzer Hara to do that, right? It's very easy for him to do that, right? This was by Sharei Gam Be'esahu Michyo Mekayim Oisei Habayri Yisbarach. But let's remember something. Even during this time, Hashem is still giving the person life. He's keeping the person existing during that time. So let us remember that, wait a second, Hashem is giving me the existence during that time, so I have to thank Hashem for it. That I can get through this path, I can get through this difficulty. That I'll get through it, right? Bivadei shehu kedai laitivai ba'achirosai. That really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this because He wants to do good for you at the end. And that's why do you take a test, right? Even if, like the example we're using, right? You take a test because you want to go to the next level, right? When a person's in school and they take their final exams, right? Why? They want to pass those tests so they can advance, right? So you understand when we're taking a test, Hashem gives us a spiritual test. It's the same thing. If I pass the test, I advance. Okay. It's a different way to look at the test.
Yeah.
It's a different way to look at it. But if you look at it that way, like I'm giving you the silly way with school, but it's not the same thing. But I'm just giving you something that we can relate to, right? Yeah. Everyone relates to the idea, right? You take your test, right? You became an accountant, right? So you have to take your test, right? So you have to take that test. You have to study a lot, right? And you have to all that school, everything, right? In order to take the test, and then you advanced, right? It became right. Amazing, right? It's the same idea with this. So, where did they get the concept from? It came from the spirituality. It came from the concept of Torah, right? That again, Hashem gives us that test. But wait a second. Remember that Hashem's giving you the test because He wants you to advance. So now, am I going to complain to Hashem that He's giving me this test? I'm going through this challenge now.
Yes.
No, but this challenge is only here to advance me.
I know. Yeah.
But we understand that the challenge is here to advance me, so why would I complain? The other way, Rabbi, I would say the opposite. Wow, Hashem, thank you for giving me this opportunity. That's what we're learning in Likutey Halachos, the idea that you can just see the good in each thing. Look at the good in the thing. Find that good. Right? Nimsa mashlu amasa gets haida asay labayis baruch ayedei sheyishtadel yashev estate. So a person can have more yishuv adas. He can work on settling his mind and understanding and prepare ourselves. We have to think about this. So when we go through that test, when we go through that difficult situation, we know how to deal with it. Otherwise, we don't know. We get all the Yetzer Hara, then it attacks us, and then we don't know, and then we can't advance. The Yetzer Hara doesn't want us to advance. He wants us to stay low, small. He doesn't want us to grow spiritually. All right, but again, if we understand it, if we understand the concept that I'm going through the test, it's only to advance me. So then I have to give Hashem a big thank you. Right? Now, says, now you can push off the Yetzer Hara. You say, hey, listen, I know why Hashem's testing me, because He wants to give me something good. You don't want me to have anything good. So get out of here. Get out of here. I don't need you. You understand the concept, and you see this really from.
I'm thinking we could teach this to our children.
Well, you see this really from with David HaMelech, right? Each time he went through a difficult situation, he would thank Hashem. He would praise Hashem. He never complained. David HaMelech never complained to Hashem. He would always come to Hashem with a song. 10 different types of song, right? He had 10 different types of song, but he came to Hashem always with a song, never with a complaint. So that's the concept that we're learning here. In other words, when you're going through a situation, I understand that it's really there to help me. So that's how you can use the netzach, you can use the victory over the Yetzer Hara through the situation to thank Hashem. Use that to thank Hashem. And what a great thank you that is when you could see Hashem during the difficult time. Right, David, like you always say, why don't we thank Hashem when things are going good, right? No, but yeah. that's still easier to do, right? People maybe don't do that, but it's certainly easier to do that than when the person's going through a difficult challenge. right? He's going through a challenge. It's a little more tricky to be able to thank Hashem. But if you can't,
or we don't, when good things are happening to us, which happens all the time, we don't say, Hashem, why are you doing this to me?
yeah, right,
We only say that when we don't like what's going on.
yeah.
You like that comment.
I
don't you?
love it.
I've heard
I
you
love
say
it.
that many times,
I love it.
brother.
No, it's good. It's good. No, it's a strategy.
Yeah, I use it.
It's a wonderful strategy that works for that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good strategy. Understand the concept that we have to keep in mind that we're going through the challenge. The challenge is only there for to advance us, to bring us to success. Unreal, right? I mean, it's the same thing like when you go to the dentist, right? And they're drilling and they say, you never get upset at the dentist for drilling, right? You wonder he gives you a big bill at the end too, right? Right? But you know, right? But you know that it's going to be better at the end. I'm just giving you different examples of situations we go through that we're okay with, but when it comes to something with God, then it gets a little more complicated. Even though Hashem was involved in all those situations also. But I'm just giving you something we can relate to, okay? All right, so then let's go on to...
So the complex thing about that is that, what did you mean by it was going to be a little hard to understand that?
this concept of understanding the concept of when I'm going through a challenge, that challenge is only there to help me advance.
Yeah.
You have to think about that. Because when you're going through the challenge, you need a place, it's like you said, place this into your heart. Because you need this in the heart. Because
Yeah, that's right.
because when you're going through that difficult thing, you need that courage. You need that and
It's counterintuitive to thank God when things are rough.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
yeah,
I
yes
can
it
argue with
is.
that.
Yes it is.
When on Rosh Hashanah I say have a good and sweet year.
Yeah.
You know why I say have a good and sweet year?
Yeah.
Because everything is good and not everything is sweet.
Right.
So that means this is not sweet, but it's still good.
If you can do that, you're way ahead of the game. It's tough.
No, but again, you're right on Rosh Hashanah. We do okay. That's true. But again, just to understand this concept, when I'm going through a difficult thing, you get a thing that a person has to pay a lot of money, or someone had a health problem, or a family issue, whatever the case is. Stop for a second. Think. Hashem is giving me this situation now to advance me. And thank Hashem. And then I say, thank you, Hashem, for putting me in this situation, because really I know that you want to do good for me in the end. The goal here is to advance me. It's hard to understand that concept.
It's not so hard for me to get that.
Okay, all right.
I mean, look, some things come easier
Okay.
than others. And
All right, but no, to practically use it when the situation comes up.
You know, sometimes I'll scream, Hashem, I know you're doing this for a reason, but right now I wish you would do something different. Or, I mean...
No, but that's not to do something different. No.
Thank
Hashem,
you.
thank you, Hashem, for giving me this very thing, because this is what I need to advance me.
Thank you for the broken leg.
We're saying the same thing, but it's just my way
No,
of
but
doing
don't
it.
change it. Don't change it. No, Hashem, you know exactly what I need. That's the point. Hashem knows exactly what I need for the test.
But it
You're
doesn't mean it
saying
doesn't hurt.
no. You're saying
It doesn't mean it doesn't
no.
hurt.
You're saying like this. You're sitting down to take your accounting exam, and they bring you in a law exam, the bar exam. And you go, wait, hold on a second. Hey, wait a second. I studied accounting. I didn't study law. Right? I studied accounting. I didn't study law. So how am I going to take this test? Hashem knows what test you need.
I understand that.
The same way you go and study and you know what test you're going to take, Hashem knows what spiritual test you need. So when you say to Hashem, hey, I thank you for giving me, but I really would rather have something else, that's not really thanking Hashem for that thing. We're saying here, I'm thanking Hashem for the problem I'm having.
Okay. However, I think I'm not communicating very well right this minute.
No, but I'm okay.
I'm not communicating well because I'm not getting across what I'm trying to say. It's the pain of that I don't, I mean, it hurts. and you're,
but
you're
again,
suffering the pain. And
but
yes,
again,
it's
so
good.
right.
I
But
know that.
no. But again, when you understand there's a purpose for it, you can go through it a lot easier.
I
That's why I gave you the example for the dentist, right?
Yeah.
Right? The person has a cavity, right? And his tooth is keeping him up all night, right? And he goes, sits down in the dentist's chair, and he starts right that drilling, right? Wow, that no one likes that sound, right? I think that's worse than anything else. That noise, right? To me anyway. Yes. That noise, that's so horrible, right? Anyway, no, but again, I'm sitting there, and I'm not saying that then, hey, why you don't do the other tooth? Why are you doing this? This tooth hurts me already. Why are you doing that tooth? Maybe fix a different one so that won't hurt me. Hashem knows exactly what we need.
I understand. I agree with that.
So I know Hashem is painful. I got it, Hashem. But I'm going to say thank you, Hashem, because you know that this very thing that I'm going through is what is going to advance me. This very thing. And the way I deal with it, my perspective on how I deal with it, will help me advance. The acceptance of it. To accept what Hashem gave me because He knows what I need to be successful. That's the lesson, and that's difficult to accept. That's difficult to you have to work that through. When I say, hey Hashem, you're right, okay, it's painful, give me something else instead. Okay, then I didn't accept the test. I didn't accept the test. Teacher, you gave me this test, it's too hard. Give me a different one. give me a different test. This one's too complicated. They don't let you do that, do they?
No.
You sit there to practice there. You take this test. When you're done, hand it in. Finished. They don't say, this is too hard. Right? I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to help you understand the concept. All right? Okay, now, the Kenyan Torah, the 48 ways to learn, to acquire the Torah. Today's lesson is, Oyev Hesateichachais. We have to love rebuke. Love rebuke. Oyev Hesateichachais. Love rebuke. And again, you can only advance if you can accept the rebuke, right? Someone saw something, they explained it to you, so don't try to be defensive. Accept it. Not only accept it, love it. Because now I can advance. Unbelievable idea. It's hard. This is a very hard day. Anytime you have Netzach involved, it's going to be hard. Netzach is going to be hard. So not only should I accept the rebuke, I have to love accepting the rebuke. Hard.
Well, that also means, see, you're going against my thing that says, when someone says something about me, maybe they're talking about themselves. So it's got to be real rebuke. It can't just be...
No, but again, that's true on their part. But on your part, you still heard it.
Yeah, I heard
They
it.
told it to you. So you could look at it and put it back on them. And then you could say, well, you really have the same problem. That's why you're telling me.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is maybe the rebuke is not true, not the truth.
Okay.
I mean, it has to be, to me, it has to be real rebuke.
Listen. If the person tells you something nonsensical, right? Of course, we're not talking about it. But if he tells you something, hey, I just saw you. You did this. You said this. You whatever it was, and I want to let you know that the Jewish law says you shouldn't do this, or that, and I'll explain to you why. That's what kind of Tataka was saying.
Okay.
Not that, I don't like your shirt that you're wearing today, and because it doesn't really match your pants, that's nonsense. But if someone says to you that he tells you something that's meaningful, that has meaning to it, and you accept that, to love that, to learn, to advance. You understand? We're talking about, again, real things. We're not talking about regular, simple conversation and just, nonsense stuff. We're talking about where a person comes over to you, it's a serious conversation, and he wants to help you understand something. So a lot of times people get very defensive. What do you mean you're telling me I'm doing this wrong? My father did this, and my grandfather did this, and I'm doing it too. Hey. Who are you to tell me not to do this, right? Who are you to tell me not to do this? Right? But if the guy said, you know something? My father may have done this, my grandfather may have done this, and they may have been wrong too. But thank you for letting me know so I can change it. And we don't have to keep on making the mistake. That's the idea, okay? All right, so let's move on now to Likutey Halachos. So the idea is, it's a complicated thing. It's a complicated day because, again, thank Hashem for the very, very thing that you're going through. That very thing is what I have to thank Hashem for. Okay? All right, let's see. All right, so let's go now. Now we'll do Likutey Halachos and Mitz Hashem with Siyata Deshmaya. We're back in our story of the 7 beggars. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, and again, you know, we're learning the concept. The more we remove the physicality from our lives, the more we can remember. The more remembering means is we can remember Hashem, we can remember the Torah, we can remember to do our mitzvahs. That's really what it means to us. Okay. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to go now. We're in Likutey Halachos Hilchos Tefillin, Halacha Hey, and today we're up to Beis. Right? We did Aleph yesterday, and now we're going to do Beis. All right, David, you with us here?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So now the Rebbe says like this. So now that we spoke a lot about the different levels of the tzaddikim, right? We were talking about these different levels, what they could remember, how far they could remember back, and really how they looked in, what was their perspective on life, right? Right? The person, was he really blind? No, he wasn't blind. He was blind to the situation, to things in this world that were meaningless. That were meaningless. What it means that he was deaf. What does it mean he was deaf? He was deaf to hear the things that didn't make any sense. So far, okay. Nachsel in Yanenu. So the Rabbi, so Rabbi Nosson says now we're going to come back to our topic here, and we're going to talk about the first beggar, which was the blind beggar. And each one is going to tell over their story based on the first
memory. It says here.
Memory. Okay, the first memory. And the oldest one of them told over. The oldest one said that I could remember when they cut the fruit from the tree. They cut the apple, the tapuach min ha'ana, from the branch. They cut the apple from the branch. But again, he's the oldest one. He's the oldest one of all of them. So he can only remember because he feels old. He feels old, so he can only remember things of this world. Because again, people that are really old, but they're young, they can remember a lot more. Because they may be physically old, but spiritual, but in their minds, they're very, very young. You understand? He was the one that was the oldest of all. They all may have been old. They all may have been the same age. Mm-hmm. But he was the one that felt he was the oldest of all of them. So he was the oldest. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now, the Hainu. He remembers Be'ez Shechotchu Es Taburai. Right? That the eagle came along, the great eagle came along and explained to him, that was what? That was when they cut the umbilical cord, right? He came into the world, he left the amniotic fluid, and he came into the world, and they cut the umbilical cord. But the second one wasn't as old, and he was able to remember when the candle was still burning while it was in his mother's womb. The second one. Again, he's not as old, so he can remember a little more further back.
Right.
He can remember further back.
It's kind of you think the older one is the one
Yeah,
who is
yeah. That's why I'm
like
trying.
later, as
I'm
opposed to
trying
earlier.
to focus on that. And notice when you have that younger perspective, no, maybe we can understand it like this also. Maybe you can understand this too, Mordechai. Let's try it like this. If you're a young person can remember things of yesterday easier than an older person remembers things of many years ago, right? The memory is fresher in the younger person of their life than the old person, right? The old person may have trained themselves to remember things, right? They may have done that, but the young person, it just happened. It just happened, right? The situation just happened, so it's current. It's current by the young person. So in other words, the younger the person's perspective is on life, the more current their spiritual things are to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Sure. It's more recent memory.
More recent memory. Recent memory. That was the word I was like, thank you. Okay, dahainu, ma shenasa atzmai be'eis ha'iber shoya ner doilek al roisha. He remembered that when he was in his mother's womb, in that peace, that tranquil place, he was in his mother's womb, and the candle was burning. What did we say that the candle was burning?
That's what I was just wondering about.
The
What does that
candle
mean,
burning. The candle was burning was the light that we said from the 7 days of creation that Hashem hid away. That light is inside the womb.
Okay.
And then Adam Arisha was able to see from one end of the world to the other. So can the little baby. That little fetus can have that same view, that same perspective, because that's an aspect of Gan Eden. When the baby is in the mother's womb, it's an aspect of Gan Eden. He has everything he needs. His mother takes care of him. Everything is given to him. The baby has nothing to worry about. The baby has nothing to worry. Everything is provided for the baby. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
That's Gan Eden. That's why he can have that perspective. That's why he can see from one end of the world to the other, because he has no worries. When he comes into the world, he has to worry. I have to make a living. I have a family. I have my child. He has all the problems. He can't. You don't have that. You don't have that tranquility. But it's so peaceful. It's so tranquil being in the mother's womb. It's unbelievable to think about it. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So he was able to understand that the candle was burning. He had that beautiful perception of Gan Eden. Unbelievable. Just to think about it. It's so relaxing to even think about that. Vashlishi siper shezoiche gam be'ez shehischil lihis rakem haguf. He remembered when his body started to form. He remembered when he became the feet. He remembered when the body started to form. Beautiful, right? Unbelievable to remember that. The way he was growing, the way he was developing. And the next one, right? The fourth one remembered when his mother became impregnated. Unbelievable. He remembered that situation, where he remembered so far so that how he became in existence because of the bond between the mother and the father. He came into existence. Amazing. Mamish amazing. I mean, if you think about it, even remembering just the cutting of the umbilical cord, that's fascinating. To recall that, right? And then to recall back, remember when the candle was burning, when I was in my mother's womb? Wow. And then to remember when my body started to form? And that experience? Now, they're very beautiful concepts that we're learning about. And this one, then, and the fourth one, to remember when he became. He was nothing before. Now he became. When the drop of sperm came in during the time of relation, he remembered that point where that's how he became. unreal to remember such a thing, to go back so far.
I can't even comprehend what.
But look at the next one. V'chamishi si b'shezaychi gam es hachachamim shehoyu memtziim es hagaron. He remembered where the seed came from. Wow, he remembered where it started from. The little tipa, where it came from. He remembered when it was still in his father's mind. And the sixth one. Vashishi, Vashvi, Vashmini. And the sixth and the seventh and the eighth. The sixth and seventh and eighth. Some say that that's the seventh and the eighth is Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. Right? Okay. Zachru gam es hamara v'atam v'areach koidim shenimshach ala pri. He was able to remember the vision. He was able to see the tam, the taste. How do you see a taste? He was able to see the taste. V'areach, and the smell. Koidim shenimshach ala pri, before it became a fruit. That what is that? Shul bechinas nefesh, ruach, and neshama. He was able to remember where in Shemayim, where his nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Right? We have different levels of our neshama, right? We have nefesh, which is the lowest one. Ruach is the next one, which is the spirit. And then we have the neshama, is the soul. And then we have a higher level, which is chaya and yechida. Okay, we're not discussing that right now. Okay, so in other words, he could recall. So let's go back to, okay, here we go. The first one, the oldest one of them all, remembers what? When he cuts the umbilical cord. The next one says, oh yeah, well, I'm not as old as you. I can remember back a little more. I can remember when I was in my mother's womb. Wow. And the next one says, well, I'm not as old as you, so I can remember back a little more. I remember when I was my formation. When I was becoming a baby. I was becoming a human being. And the next one says, you remember that? I'm not as old as you, so I can remember back one more stage. And I can remember when there was the seed. When we were becoming impregnant. And the other one says, well, I'm not as old as you. I can remember when the seed was still in my father's mind. And the next one, and the sixth one, and the seventh, and the eighth one say, I can remember the nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Unbelievable, right? Different levels, right? There were three of them. Each one remembered another level. One remembered the nefesh, the level of nefesh, which is the lower level. And the other one says, well, I'm not as old as you, so I can remember the ruach. And the other one says, I'm not as old as you, I can remember the neshama. V'atina kshua bletla ha'iver. And the young one, which is the blind one. But which one? We said, why is he the young one is the blind one? We said the blind one was the oldest one, right? But we said there's a system within, he was telling over the story within his story. Ama shezeiche lav klum. Ki hu lemala min hakol. V'zeiche afilu kishu kaidem min nefesh ruach neshama shu bechinas ayin. So the oldest one remembered, which was the blind one. Again, when he was telling over his story, right? So he told over a story within the story. And he told over about these eight within his story. So he was telling over this story. That means he was part of that story too. That he was part of that story because he was telling over that story. So he says, I'm the old one, but I still can recall back all these things because I'm really young. What did he bless the children? I'm old, but I'm really young. You should be young. Remember what he said? Mm-hmm. You should be old like me, but young like me. Old like me, that you should reach up in your years, but be young like me in my perspective of life. Amazing, right? It's amazing. You meet some older people, right? And they're just old people, right? You meet some old people and they're just old. And they're just tired and they're worn, right? It's amazing. And then you meet some other young old people and they're just full of life. Why? They could be the same age. The two people can be the same age. A totally different perspective. You've met people like that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Have you met people like that? You meet an older person, and then the person, some people, that they mamish have a young outlook, and they're full of vigor, and they're full of energy. And the other one's just tired and old. And why? Because again, they don't have that perspective. They don't have that newness in life. They don't wake up with that vigor every day.
Wake up!
That's it. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Like Ellie was explaining, when the lion gets up, he gets up with all his being, right? With all his essence. He pulls himself together and he jumps up.
It's either waking up and saying I have a new day of life, or I'm closer to death than I was. It's two different perspectives.
Well, that's what we're saying. It's unbelievable. So this is what the Iver, the blind one, that really wasn't blind.
Yeah.
And he was old, but he wasn't really old. So what does this really come to show? Really, what does this come to show you? What you see doesn't meet the eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you see doesn't meet the eye.
What you're looking at in this world, is it really what you're looking at? What you're seeing, is that really what it is? What you're seeing in this world, when you see something, is that really what you're looking at? Or is it a figment of imagination? Is it what is it?
Or are you really seeing what is,
Right, so that's the question now. What do you see? So again, when we went back with Reb Meir didn't see things physically.
Right, spiritually.
He saw the spirituality. Right? They say when the Vilna Gaon when he was passing away, he looked up at the ceiling and he saw the beams. So he saw the letters, Keresh, like Keroshim are the beams. So he saw the Kuf, the Shin, and the Resh. He saw the letters. He didn't see the physical thing anymore. He was so connected to spirituality, he saw just the physical, he saw the letter makeup of things. Amazing. Okay, so Ayin. Okay, now, Ayin Sham, Kol Zehetiv, see this all very good. If you want to look at something with a truthful eye, if you really want to see things with a truthful eye, Tira me'rechoik ployes Hashem. Look from a distance of the wonders of Hashem. Look from a distance. Look from a distance how Hashem runs everything, how beautiful Hashem makes everything. Asher loy nishma v'loy nira kazois mi'emais olam. That was never heard such a thing from the time of the world begin. Zikaron beinei necha daika. To remember between your eyes. Tefillin, right? What does tefillin tell you? It's a zikaron beinei necha. It's a remembrance between your eyes. What does that mean, a remembrance between your eyes? We put the tefillin on top of our head between the eyes. Now, where do you wear your tefillin?
On top of my head, between my eyes.
Right in the center, which is right between the eyes, right? That's where we do it, right? Not like the tzedukim. They used to wear it. It said Beinei Necha. You know what they used to do? They used to hang the tefillin down because they didn't believe in the Torah Shabbat Peh. So they say, well, it says Beinei Necha, so they wanted tefillin right here.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. Even back then, they didn't understand the Torah Shabbat Peh. And they didn't accept it. Unbelievable. Anyway, Beinei Necha. Why is that? Because the eyes, it's only a sign of where the place is. The eyes is only a sign of where the place, the tefillin of the righteous is supposed to go. Because the main remembrance comes from where? When we fix our eyes. Tikkun ha'inayim. We have to fix our eyes. And again, what does the Torah tell us? What does the Torah say? V'lo sasuru acharei levavchem. Don't go after what your eyes show you. Don't go after what your eyes are drawing you to. Don't go after that. Your eyes are drawing you to things. Don't go through that. Laman tizkiru. If you want to remember your Torah, you have to be very careful what you see. You have to be very, very careful what you're looking at. Tikkun einayim. You have to fix the eyes by being very careful what we see. Don't see things that are inappropriate. Because the more things we see that are inappropriate, it inhibits our ability to be able to remember and recall Torah. Unbelievable. The connection, because the tefillin, it says, L'zikaron bein einecha. It's a remembrance. L'zikaron bein einecha. So you see the eyes have something, a direct connection to memory. The eyes have a direct connection to memory. Tikkun einayim. Kamuva b'maisa shezeh ha'iver shehaya iver legamri mechezu d'hai alma. Because this guy, this blind guy, he was not blind of physically blind. He was blind of seeing things of this world. For what the people say that they are.
Rabbi Meir.
No, this was the blind guy. Same idea. He didn't see things. He didn't see the physical aspect of things. Right? He wasn't looking at anything in this world. Nothing impressed him. He didn't see a nice car and a nice this and this is so beautiful. That's so beautiful. It didn't mean anything to him. The whole world wasn't worth him but a blink of an eye. The world meant nothing to him. He saw it for face value. He knew this world we're living in is what's called the Olam HaSheker. We're living in the world of falsehood. We're living in the world of falsehood. You know, if you see construction, right? You know construction, right? Yeah. Right. So take a look. So let's say before they put the tiles down on the floor. So what does the floor really look like?
Mess.
It's a mess, right? They put the tile down. Now it looks nice. What about the mess that's still underneath?
Still there.
The mess is still there. So I'm looking at the tile now, but there's still a mess underneath. You ever think of it like that? Mm-hmm. Right? You take the car has a bang, right? And they come and they fill it in, and they sand it down, whatever they do, right? And they paint it nice. It looks nice, but there's still, hey, wait a second. There's still a bang in the thing, right? It's still there. You ever think like that? Well, is the thing, like, is what you're looking at, is it really that thing? Are you really looking at that? Did they first perfect the floor so nicely? Was the floor gorgeous? Did they polish the concrete nice? Really polish it real good? And then put the tile on top. Oh, that'll be something, that'll be special, right? And that'll be a real beautiful building, right? But we don't care. I just want to see what looks good to my eyes, what's aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. Right? Rameir didn't care. He didn't care. He saw a tile, he saw a floor, it didn't matter to him. He just needed somewhere to stand. He needed somewhere to stand, to put his chair, to learn Torah. That's all he needed. He didn't care what it looked like. He didn't care what the chair looked like. He didn't care what the table looked like. He didn't care what kind of wood the table was. Nothing. It didn't make a difference there. That's the main tikkun of our eyes. When we look at things, right? Chazal say, in the Gemara it says like this, when a person sees a nice lady, right? So what does the Gemara say you're supposed to do? Look at this lady and say, you know what? She's full of blood and garbage. Excrement. That's what the Gemara says. You think she's so pretty? You think she's so attractive? Really, what's behind it? What's behind all of that pretty, that excrement? She's full of excrement. She's full of blood. That's beautiful? Is that beautiful? Is that what I'm going to go after? That's how Chazal tell. No. That's what the Chazal tell us the way we can perceive it. In other words, that's the answer to give the Yetzer Hara. You're telling me, wow, this lady is so attractive. Wow, I want to. Chazal said, wait a second. Really think about this for a second. What's she made out of? Is that what I'm going to give my life? What's I'm going to give my neshama away for? For that? For what? For a pile of excrement?
It's a captive woman, in war.
It's what?
The woman that's attractive in war, you have to take home and let her get ugly.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about no. I'm just in general. No. In general, when you see Chazal give us a way to look at things, to spiritually look at things. Don't look at the thing for what it's for the face value. Don't look at it. See what's the makeup behind it. What is it really? Am I going to really give up my connection with Hashem for that? Would I do that? If I saw standing there bags of blood, and I saw standing there piles of dung, would I go after that? Would anyone go after that? Would anyone go after that?
No.
No one, right? But that's the problem. This is the blind guy. That's how he saw things. He saw just like that. He wasn't looking at the physical aspect of it. Really, what's behind it? What's behind that tile? What's behind that skin? What's behind that piece of metal? Or whatever. I'm just giving you these examples to understand. What does it really look like underneath? How to have a new perspective on how to view things. You understand?
When you say it, I'm looking when you at the face. If you take it away, then I'm seeing the blood and guts. So you have to take that away, and then.
No. Okay, again,
but really, hard to get the blood and guts out of my mind since you put it there.
No. But that's again. I didn't put it there. I'm teaching you what the rabbis taught us.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not my idea. I'm not giving you my idea. That's the Gemara. That's from the Chazal. They taught us that. All right, that's the perspective. But what I'm trying to say is, but it's even deeper than that, because that same person that the person's attracted to also has a soul.
Right.
Also has a soul. So when we learned about Rab Meir, and like we said, when we go to any big mekubal, right? If you can go to a mekubal that's a true person, right? So the mekubal sees, right, the Kabbalist, mekubal, you know what that is, right? Kabbalist, a Kabbalist.
Yeah,
okay. So if you go to a true Kabbalist, not like these, the Kabbalah Center guys. You go to a mamash tzaddik. You go to a tzaddik. Okay, the tzaddik can look into the person and say, "Oh, Reb Reuben." The tzaddik sees within the person. He sees the essence of the neshama. He doesn't see the person for face value. How you doing? You still didn't send me those pictures.
No, I've been working on it.
Oh, no, okay. I'm joking. Reuben, I'm kidding. Reuben, that was a joke. I'm not please. Take your time with it.
Are you and Rav Asher Weiss fan or?
Yeah, sure. I listen.
I some good pictures from last night.
I study a lot of his teachings. Yeah, he's wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
Some good pictures for you from last
night. Okay, all right, wonderful. Okay. That's the way we can fix our eyes. So we start to look at things in a way of that we see what's really behind the situation. We gave the example just before. A person walks, an attractive lady walks by. So they're looking at, what, right? So what did the rabbis tell us in Chazal?
You shouldn't have seen her in the first place.
But let's say you do see her, right? Let's say that's the test, right?
Okay.
So what does Chazal the rabbis tell us? What are you looking at? You're looking at a pile of dung and blood. Because what's behind all the skin and what's behind all of that? Blood and dung.
That's true.
So really, what am I going after? Would anyone go after? You want to say something, David?
No.
Would anyone go after a pile of dung? If there was a pile of dung standing there, would anyone be running after that?
Depends upon what it's closed in.
No. But I'm saying if it's
probably not.
No, probably not. I don't think anyone would, right?
Right.
Unless they're a farmer that they need some, fertilizer or something, right? Right. Right, farmers use that stuff, the dung, right? They need that for their fertilizer, right? But okay, so we're learning here that in our story again. You didn't pick up the book yesterday, so you didn't know the story. But all right, but okay, you'll call me later. You'll get the book, okay? All right, so we're learning about the blind guy that really wasn't blind. Yeah. He wasn't really blind. He was only blind of seeing things in this world. He was blind to
He saw what
see.
he wanted to see.
He saw only the what was important. Wasn't looking, he was blind, but he wasn't really blind. He was only blind to things of this world, physicality. He was blind to that. And we make the association with the tefillin. It says, with the tefillin, L'zikaron bein einecha. You put the rosh, the tefillin, bein einecha, between the eyes. Right on the head. You put your tefillin on the head, right? And where's it goes? Right in the middle, right between, underneath, where the eyes are.
Yeah.
So you see the correlation here between zikaron and einecha. Is remembering.
Yeah.
If I want to be able to remember, like we're learning here about these guys, these beggars, what they were able to remember. He was able to remember. The first guy was able to remember when his umbilical cord was cut. The second one was able to remember what? When he was sitting in his mother's womb, and he had the candle burning. That was that tranquility. The third one was able to remember when he was being formed. When his body was being formed in his mother's womb. The fifth one was able to remember when his mother became impregnated. Wow. Could you imagine? And we said now the older the person was, the older perspective that the person had, he had a further recollection of his memory. He wasn't able to remember as much because he was older. The younger person, it's more short. What do you say, David? What was it called? Short-term memory. Is that what you said? Short-term memory. So the younger one, the people that have a younger perspective in life, they can remember a lot more because they're younger. It just occurred. It just happened.
But they've had less experience.
No, but they're not. They're older, but they have that young outlook in life. You could be old, but you can have that vigor of a young person as being an older person.
I think that's the key, huh?
That's the key. This is the key to success. Because again, if you realize every day you're a new person, every day we're brand new, and every day we have the opportunity to accomplish anything we want, anything. We can accomplish anything any day. We just have to want to.
So is it the soul that is remembering?
No,
Who's remembering? Like, when you say, like, I remember when I was a seed. There were two, the sperm or the egg.
Yeah.
So it's like, who was really seeing it?
It's the neshama that's in the mind.
The neshama that's in the mind.
It's in the mind. The neshama shebemaichi. Neshama, we say, when we put on that film before we start, we say that the neshama is in the mind.
So,
and that some say prayer again. Yeah.
So, what's the name of the soul?
Neshama.
Oh, so you were saying soul. The soul was in the mind. Okay.
Yeah, the soul's in the mind. Neshama is in the shebemaichi. The neshama is in my mind. Is in my mind, in your mind, in everyone's mind. That's where the neshama rests, in our minds. That's why it's so important when we put it in our mind, because that's what we're filling up the neshama with. You want to put good things in the neshama wants good things. It doesn't want that.
When you have a child, you want to make sure what's coming out of your brain is holy.
Is holy, exactly. That's the main way to look at things in this world, when you understand to see them for what they're really worth. Right? The example I gave was this, Ruben, if you look at a nice floor, there's nice tiles on the floor, right? What's behind it? Dirt.
Right.
Unfinished concrete, yuck, right? But it looks beautiful. But what is it really? It's dirt.
Right.
Oh, I see this thing on the top, but is that really what it is?
Now, we normally get credit or scar for looking at the right things and not looking at bad things.
Exactly.
What about a blind person?
A blind person is special. Because a blind person...
How do they get that scar?
The blind person has to work on his other things that he can, right? So in other words, the blind person will have better hearing, right? They'll compensate for the loss, right? That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
If person loses one sense, like
One sense gets
one sense, the
stronger.
other senses get stronger to compensate for the one that was lost. Okay.
But which blind person are you talking about?
Now he's
The
talking about a
blind-
physical
I
blind.
know, but I'm saying, but I'm not. In this story, the blind person is the one who doesn't see the physical world. He only sees the
Spiritual.
world.
He sees the spiritual aspect of each thing. Like we said when Rav Meir. Rav Meir looked at the sheretz. He looked at that creepy crawly, and Rav Meir said it was tar. It was pure.
Why?
Because he didn't see the creepy crawly. He saw the life force in the creepy crawly. And that life force is pure. That's Hashem. The life force that's in that little bug is Hashem. So he saw Hashem in the bug. He didn't see the bug itself. He was looking deeper than the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so now you made me think it was so. The life force. Is that what you said?
Yeah. There's a life force in each thing, right? Each bug has something's keeping it alive. Right? Little gnats flying around, right?
They don't have a soul, or do they? Because
It's hard. It's not, they have a soul, but they don't have, let's say, a neshama.
God, you just said the neshama was a soul.
Yeah, well, the nefesh is the soul, and the neshama is the. I don't know how you translate these words in English. I'm sorry. I don't know if there's a translation for neshama and
There's a
nefesh.
distinction. I only care about the distinction, not necessarily the word. So there
are three. We learned just now there are three levels.
3 levels.
Right. There's 3 levels. We have the nefesh,
Nefesh,
the ruach,
ruach.
and the neshama.
Okay.
So nefesh is the lowest one.
So the bug has the nefesh.
What?
Does the bug have the nefesh?
The bug has the nefesh.
Okay.
So
But not
animals.
and
too.
ruach
Doesn't have the ruach. The ruach is really the kayat to speak.
Okay.
Doesn't have that.
Okay, and then shama. So okay, so he has the lowest level one.
Right, but he still has something. But that's godliness.
Something is just godly.
Exactly.
Right. That's-
Whatever's
yeah.
keeping it, whatever keeping it ticking, it's
still
going.
godly, yeah.
That's godliness that keeps it going.
Yeah. See. Right.
So he
was-
saw the godliness in it.
Yeah, even though it was the lowest level. that was
Rameya
godliness.
saw the table, but he saw the holy spark that's in the table that keeps it existing. He didn't see the table itself for a table. He didn't see the table for a table. Right? We said that the Vilna Gaon, when he was on his deathbed, he was looking up at the ceiling. He was laying in his bed, right? So he was looking at the ceiling. He only saw beams. He saw, the beams on the thing. So he saw the letter makeup of the beams. He didn't see the actual beams.
Wow.
He didn't see the actual beam. He saw the letters that make up the beam, the molecular makeup, right? Today we can maybe understand it a little bit better, right? Scientists have these microscopes, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at something under a microscope, it looks totally different than what it looked like when I looked at it with my eyes,
You see
right?
things you can't see with your naked eye.
Right, but when I look at it under a microscope, there's a lot more going on in there
Right.
than I had any idea that was going on. Right? That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're developing this. It's good, right? This is good, right? We're developing it. When you look at it with a microscope, but wait a second, when I was looking at it, it didn't look like that. But now I see it under the microscope, it's different. So you see there's different ways to look at things.
Right. So like if you look at your blood and you see blood, but if you put it in a microscope, you see all little kinds of
All that stuff going around in
stuff
there.
going on there. Yeah.
Amazing, right? It's alive.
Incomprehensible to me.
No. So we're just seeing the beauty of it, which we're learning. We're developing this beauty, really, of what things really are. The Yetzer Hara says, no, it's this is the lady, and that's it. That's it. You just see the lady for the lady. Rabbi said, no. Don't look at the lady for the lady. Look at the lady for the. Look what's behind it. Put a microscope there. What is it?
For the neshama.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's a different perspective, right? Like Ruben, you take pictures, right? But now if you took pictures with a microscope, you had a microscopic lens on your camera, right?
come out different.
And your pictures would be totally different. People may not want to look at your pictures then, right?
For sure.
That's funny.
No, but I'm saying but that's how he was looking at it. They had microscopic eyes. They saw They saw what was making it up. You understand the difference?
I'm picturing this.
So it's almost like the person was blind. If a person was seeing things in that way, right, with they had a microscope attached to their eyes, and they were able to pinpoint on each thing. So it's almost like they're blind because they don't see the thing for the way it is.
Right.
They see it a totally different way.
No, they see it for the way it is.
No, but they don't see it the way everyone else sees it.
Right.
Not superficially.
Right. Okay. Is that we got somewhere with this, right? This is amazing, right?
So now I want a camera that when you take the picture,
Yeah.
it shows you the internal and not the external.
Okay. You may not want that
It's
though.
an X-ray machine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an X-ray machine. Yeah.
But I knew
there
what
you
in
go.
color. Oh, they haven't. Never mind.
Yeah, the
They have-
MRI.
yeah, they have-
MRI.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do all kind of cameras. But it's amazing that Hashem brought these things in the world to help us understand these concepts. It's fascinating, right? We're
Imagine a
using
beautiful woman and then the MRI of a woman.
unbelievable. But that's what the rabbi said 3,000 years ago. 3,000. They said, look at the lady. Really, what is she? She's full of dung and she's full of blood.
Blood and guts. And
That's what it is. If we put her on an MRI, put her in the machine, you'll see it.
It's funny.
But it's the truth. So why I want that?
I don't want what I don't see. I want what I see.
But
No,
then the question is,
I
what
don't-
do you want? What are you seeing?
Yeah.
Now again, so we're saying that your memory of Torah is dependent on what you see. So if you start to see things in a real way, which means you don't see them for the face value of the thing itself, you see it for real. So then you could start to remember more of your Torah. People want to know, why can I learn things I can't remember? Why can't I remember? You have to correct your eyes. That's what the Torah says. When you're gonna say the Kriya Shema, you say Loisa suru acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem. Don't chase after your eyes. Loisa suru acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem. Don't go after what your heart desires and your eyes. Don't go after that. They're coming there to fool you. And what's the next words? Leman tizkiru. In order that you'll be able to remember. You want to remember, the best way to do is you have to work on what you're seeing with your eyes. If you fix your eyes, then you can start to remember Torah better. Unbelievable.
So it makes me think about what I do remember from a very long time ago.
Okay.
And they were events and important events. And
then the person can remember to have the full completeness of memory. If you work on the eyes, you can have a completeness of memory. There's no more completeness that you can acquire for yourself than fixing what the eyes have, what the eyes do. Now let's think about it. What are the eyes? What really are the eyes? The eyes are a messenger of the brain, right? Mm-hmm. The brain wants to know something. So what does it do? It sends a message to the eyes, go look at that. Mm-hmm. Right? The main brain wants to know something, but the brain can't see. So the eyes are the messenger for the brain, right? You see the correlation here, right? The eyes are the memory, the connection to the brain, because the brain doesn't see. So the brain wants to know something. It tells the eyes, go look at that, and then the eyes send a message back to the brain. Fascinating, right? We're learning the way this works. Is this amazing? So you see it's really correlated. The two are really connected, so much so. The eyes and the brain are mamish connected. They're inseparable. Because this blind guy was able to remember more than all of them. Because he was blind. His eyes, memory. Okay, Kamaisha Kosav Shamba Maisa now, as it says in the story, Nimsa Shekazikaran Tali Benayan, that the main remembrance is dependent on our eyes. If we want to be able to remember better mitzvahs, Torah, and anything we learn, we have to work on our eyes. Because the eyes themselves, because seeing things in this world draws a memory of Kedusha that you need to remember. In other words, when you see things in the right way, you're looking more at Torah. You're looking more at words of tefillah. You're looking more at good things, right? You take a walk and you look at the trees and you thank Hashem. You see beautiful trees. You see the birds, right? You see the beauty. You see the mountains, right? We live in a beautiful area, right? We can take a walk. We can look at mountains. They're stunning. And you say, wow, Ma'arabu Masecha Hashem. Unbelievable. I mean, I can sit on my marpes and I see the clouds. I don't have to look up. I look at the clouds. Yes. It's unbelievable. I don't understand that. When I was living in New York, you want to see clouds, you got to look way up. Yeah. Here, the clouds are right here. I don't know. It's great.
This is all open.
It's unbelievable. No, but again, you have clarity of vision. You could see these things and thank Hashem. Wow, I could see these clouds. Wow, they're beautiful. The clouds are beautiful, right? The clouds are beautiful. The sky is beautiful. The mountains are beautiful. Look at these things and when you see them, thank Hashem. Ma'arabu Masecha Hashem. How awesome are the things that you made, Hashem. That helps us to remember our Torah. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. And again, but you'll tell me, wait a second, but the mountain's really not what the mountain is. And the clouds are not really what the clouds are, right? Yeah, true. But if you can look at that and brings you closer to Hashem, then go look at it for the face value of what it is right now. If that'll make you see that beauty, and why did Hashem make it so beautiful? So you could thank Him. Okay, Tali Be'inayim. V'chein mevoyeh ba'Torah v'yi mikei zikaron Likutey Maran, which is lesson 54, right? Lesson 54. She'ika zikaron, that the main remembrance that we can have, if we want to have a work on our memory, Tali Be'inayim, and it's dependent on our eyes. Anytime memory is connected to eyes, you can't remember. Fix what you're looking at. Make a tikkun for the einayim. Fix your eyes, fix what you're looking at. Don't look at certain things that you maybe were accustomed to look at. Look at things in a good way, and by doing that, you'll be able to have a better memory. Tali be'enayim muvasham zeh pasuk l'zikaron beinei necha is brought over there. L'zikaron beinei necha, like we say with the tefillin, tefillin. Help me remember, because the tefillin give me that right perspective, helps clean up my mind. And when it helps clean up my mind, so my mind's not going to tell my eyes to look at things that I shouldn't look at. Right? So in other words, I need to fix my mind. That's why we keep learning. Fix the mind so the mind doesn't send messages to the eyes. Go look at these things that are inappropriate, that I shouldn't be seeing. Mm-hmm. That's why you have to make a tikkun. And how do you make the tikkun of the mayach? Through the eyes. Okay?
What's a mayach?
Mind, the mind. The mind is the moach, the brain, the mind. Ki tefillin ein bechinas moichin de gadlus, because tefillin are moichin de gadlus. We were just learning before in the Sefira today, which is a netzach sheba'od. When a person is in a moichin de katnus, when he is in a small mind, is because he's going through a test. Right? So they take away all his levels. They take away everything from him. The same way like when you go study in school, right? You go study, you have a final to take, right? So they give you have all the books and all the study material and those sheets and your homework and you're reading all of that stuff, right? But then when it comes to the test, what happens?
You forget it.
No, you have to leave all the books outside. Oh. They don't let you bring them inside, right?
Right.
Oh, man, once in a while they do, but most of the time they never let us do that, right? You ever have an open book test? Did they ever let you do that?
Yeah, I've had those.
Once in a while, right?
Yeah, you can't find what you need quick enough anyway.
They know that, right? They know the material is so
hard. Now, if I can bring my Android phone in there.
Oh, yeah. You Google it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I just needed a picture for something for later.
Oh, okay. Hey, this guy is fascinating. Okay. All right, so let's finish up now. Let's go to see if we can get the Gimel now. Okay. Okay. The current by no, we're making okay. Ki tefillin hein bechinas meichin, the godless, shezeh bechinas zikaron the kedusha. Tefillin are a holy remembrance. Help me to remember holy things, which is what I'm trying to do. We're trying to remember the holy things, and he's bringing that down from the Eitz HaChaim. Oh, beautiful, unbelievable. That's meichin the godless. Ki hazikaron hu bechinas das u meichin, because the memory. What is memory? Is information and mind. Das is like we say, we have chachma bina das, right? That's the combination of chachma bina. That's das. So if I have my mind and I have the das, which is the perfect connection between the chachma and bina, so I have the meichin and I have the das. Das and meichin. Drishu Hashem in the Likutey Halachos. That's lesson Lamed Zayin, and I guess we have a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on. Tefillin shel roish v'tefillin shel yad. So we have the tefillin shel roish and we have the tefillin of the yad. We have two pairs of tefillin, right? We have a pair of tefillin. The head is one mitzvah, and the yad is a second mitzvah. That's why we make two brachas, right? Two separate mitzvahs. Okay. Sheyesh shneim yachad shmona parshias. Together you have 8 scriptures inside there. Right? There are 4 parshas in the head tefillin, right? In the rosh, and there's 4 compartments. Each one has its own passage. It has its own passage in its own compartment. Correct? Right. When it comes to the yad, they write it's one long piece of parchment that has the same 4 parshas as in the head. Right? The rosh and the yad have the same thing. In the rosh, they're divided. When it comes to the yad,
you have 5. Then you only have 5.
No, there's 4 parshas on one cloth.
Oh,
it's one piece of paper, one piece of cloth, but there's 4 passages on it. In the rosh, there are 4 separate passages on 4 separate pieces of cloth. When it comes to the yad, it's the same thing is written, but it's just written on one long cloth. You understand? So together you have 8. 4 and 4 is 8. Remember, so we said now the Iver, right? The blind guy was able to remember the 8, right? The 8, right? The 8. The 8 was, remember he had 8. The blind guy was able to recall the 8. What was the 8? Right? We said that, right? The 8 was this 6, 7, and 8 was remembering Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. Remember? He was able to remember 8. Shemaina, Arba Shel Rosh, Arba Shel Yad. Keneged Shmona Zekenim Kedoshim Anal, which is connected to the 8, which was these 8 different concepts that we learned from the blind beggar, that we were learning the 8 different concepts of the 8 different things he was able to recall, right? Which we review it one more time.
No, that's good.
Which one was the 8 though? Wasn't
the 8? So the first one remembered when they cut the umbilical cord.
Right.
The second one remembered when he was in his mother's womb. The 4th one remembered when he was being formed, when his body was being formed. Right? Where are we up to? The third, the 4th. The 5th one remembered when he was become at the conception.
Yeah.
And 6 was able to remember when he was in the mind, right? And then we missed one. One more time. The first one remembered the umbilical cord being cut.
Right.
The second one remembered when he was in his mother's womb, and he had the ner doilik, right, the candle. The third one remembered when he was being formed. The 4th one remembered when the impregnation happened, right? Right. The 5th one remembered when he was the seed. 6, 7, and 8 remembered when the nefesh, ruach, and neshama. 5 remembered when the seed was in his father's mind, when the seed was still in the mayach of the father, he remembered that. 6 remembered when it was the nefesh, the soul. 7 remembered the ruach, the spirit. 8 remembered the neshama, where it came from.
Okay, so 8.
And that's 8 connected the 8 parshas in the tefillin. These 8 levels are connected the 8 parshas in the tefillin.
But the eighth one also knew about all of the ones that came
Yeah,
because
sure.
he went through all. Yeah, okay.
Well, of course, the one that remembered that, he also remembered further too.
Right.
He was able to remember all the way back then. Of course, he remembered closer as well.
And he was the oldest.
Sheheim Balei Zikaron, because these are the masters of memory. These are the masters of memory. How do you become a master of memory? Watching what you see. Watching what you see. Careful. Tikkun einayim. Fixing the eyes. All right? Shehu bechinas tefillin. This is what the tefillin is all about. L'zikaron bein einecha, to remember between your eyes, and that's why the tefillin says u'l'zikaron bein einecha. All right? I think we're going to stop over here now.
How would you control or influence what your eyes see?
By fixing what you put in the mind, because we said that the eyes are messengers of the brain.
So the brain tells the eyes what to go look at.
Yeah.
So if I'm learning something, then the eye's going to tell me to go look at something that is.
The eyes don't tell you look at anything. It's the brain, that gives the signal to the eyes. I want to know this, so go look at it.
Okay.
I want to hear this, ears. So ears, go listen to what they're saying over there. Tune in to what they're saying, so you can send me back the message.
The eyes just
they're all messengers. They're all messages of the mind. The mind. Yeah, the mind, the brain. Yeah.
Go listen to you, go say this, go blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I want to experience this, so walk over here so we can experience this.
Yeah.
How am I going to experience it? Because he'll tell you I can feel this thing. I want to sense that. Right? Taste it so I can get that said the mind wants to sensate. You understand? It's all based on the mind. It's a different way to look at things in life, right? It's a totally different way to look at it. It's all dependent on the mind. And that's why we keep focusing on what you have to put in the mind. Fill the mind with good things. So that means during the day, if you fill your mind with good things early in the morning, so that means during the day, the mind will be sending down messages. It wants to see good things. It's not going to want to see the garbage of the world. You understand? It's all one beautiful system. And you do it through tefillin. That's what we're learning now. Through the tefillin, because the tefillin is zikaron bein einecha, so you see the direct correlation between the eyes and the memory. Everyone shkoyach.
Yes,